So without further ado, Shaun, you got the floor, buddy.
Oh,
Welcome
thank
to
you.
the
What
community.
an introduction. I'm so glad I'm not following anything crazy because I don't know if I could. But thanks for having me. I appreciate you being here. Yes, I'm Chief Evangelist at OpenVC. We rocking the swag, and I'm bringing gifts. I got my free invite link for everyone to join. I am dropping that into the chat with my LinkedIn. I post daily startup content. I keep it fun, keep it loose, keep it funky, keep it fresh. I put the fun in fun. But with OpenVC, you can sign up right now. I'd wait till the speech is done. That way you at least hear it. But you can sign up after the speech. It's free. You can peruse a ton of resources, take a fundability test, see if you're fundable. Get your deck proofread and tested by our AI pitch deck tester, which sees if it looks into what an investor will look for, gives you a score. Tons of blog posts, how to build a perfect pitch deck, how to do your valuation, how to actually do cold outreach, warm outreach, hot outreach. All of it's very good. I ought to know because I wrote most of it. So you can check it all out right after this. You can join. And we have over 17,000 investors on the platform with over 40,000 founders using it monthly. And it's 100% free. You can use it, find
We
investors
love
by your
free. We
stage.
love free.
It's you can find investors by stage, industry vertical, check size, all of that. You can do it right now. But no, we'll wait until the speech is done because that's why I'm here. We're going to give you a good one because, it's all about the AI. Everyone's talking about AI. AI can do everything. But you are still the machine. That is the topic of my talk. We're going to get into it, and I will answer any and all of your questions at the end of the speech. If we have time, drop them into the chat. I'll do my best, stay a little late, and do it. So, we're going to start this off by just me congratulating you because not only did you make it through this, but you picked a hell of a time to start a company. Okay? Seriously. Most people looked at the last few years and thought, maybe I should find a stable job. You looked at it and thought, you know what? I should voluntarily remove stability from my life. That is founder logic. Okay. The economy gets weird. The interest rates go up. The funding dries up. The news tells you AI is replacing jobs. And your response is, I think I'll become self employed. Congratulations. You're either incredibly brave or your LinkedIn profile already says serial entrepreneur, so it's too late to turn back. Or in many cases, probably both. Okay. And people always ask me, but Shaun, how do you know if someone is a founder? Don't worry, they're going to tell you, usually within the first 30 seconds, sometimes before they've learned your name. Founders have this incredible optimism that's honestly a little concerning. You'll ask them how business is going. Oh, we're pre revenue. Translation? No one's paying us yet. We're in stealth. Translation? My mom doesn't even know what I do. It's true. Got to explain it to mom all the time. We're pivoting. Translation? The first 7 ideas were terrible. We're disrupting an industry. Translation, we made a landing page. And my personal favorite is we're early. I love that one. Founders can say they're early for years. At some point, you're not early. You're just unemployed with a website. But here's what I love about founders. Most people see uncertainty and freeze. And if they don't freeze, they run for the hills, not dealing with it. Don't want anything to do with it. Founders see uncertainty and think there's probably a business in there somewhere. That's why you're sitting here tonight. You're irrational enough to believe you can build something that doesn't exist yet. And history says that's actually a pretty good strategy. So, Founder Institute launched in 2009. Wow. Right in the middle of what we like to call the financial crisis. Oh, it wasn't that fun. I mean, I had fun, but it really wasn't that fun. While everyone else was asking how to survive, what do I do? What the jobs are gone, everything's going crazy, the economy is over, we're doomed, everything is collapsing. Founders are busy building. We got companies like, oh, I don't know, Uber, Airbnb, companies that became verbs. Okay, I'm gonna Uber it. We're Airbnb-ing it. Okay, true product market fit on a societal level. Okay, these businesses define the next decade. Disruption has always been a fertile ground for entrepreneurs because when the rules change, incumbents hesitate and founders experiment. But this disruption feels a little different because this time with AI, the disruption can talk back. Okay. Every conference I go to, and I do a ton of them, they have AI panel. Every investor deck says AI. Every startup says AI. Every company says they're AI powered. My dentist has an AI strategy. My gym has an AI strategy. I'm waiting for my local taco place to tell me they vertically integrated large language models into the salsa. Okay. And I get it. People are like, we're startup is AI first. Amazing. So is everyone else's. But that's why I wanted to give this talk with this topic. Not because I think AI isn't important, it is. I use it every single day. Okay. And honestly, if Claude ever starts charging by emotional support, I'm going to go bankrupt. But I think everyone's obsessing over the wrong part. Every founder I meet wants to know the same thing. Should I use Claude? Should I use ChatGPT? Should I use Gemini? Should I use Llama? Well, maybe not the last one. The first three, my answer is always yes. Use all of them. Then stop talking about them because eventually everyone will have them. Okay. You already have Google, you have smartphones, you have access to YouTube, calculators. Nobody walks into the meeting and says, I'd like to begin by announcing that our company uses Excel. Okay. It's not a competitive advantage, just Tuesday. But AI is heading in the same direction. It's magical right now. Tomorrow it'll feel expected. Tools are going to get better, they're going to get cheaper. They'll be embedded into everything you use. And one day we're just going to stop saying AI startup for the same reason we stopped saying internet company. At some point, everything was an internet company. We're heading into the same future with AI. Okay. AI is going to displace 92 million jobs by 2030, according to the World Economic Forum. Okay. It's going to happen. But it's going to create an additional 170 million new ones. So it's a net gain. It means every founder of this room will be building in a world where AI is simply part of the infrastructure. So here's the question that's been bouncing around in my head. What happens when everyone has access to the same intelligence? When everyone can build faster, write faster, research faster, launch faster? When everyone has the same superpower? Where does the advantage go? I think it goes back to where it always belonged. You, your brain, your judgment, your taste, your curiosity, your ability to notice something everyone else ignores, your ability to ignore a good idea in favor of a great one, your ability to hear a customer say one thing and realize they actually mean something completely different. That's not something you can subscribe to for $20 a month. And that's why I titled this talk, You Are the Machine. AI is going to make us faster. There's no doubt about it. But it won't decide where we're going. Still your job. And I think that's becoming the most valuable skill in the room. Why? Let me explain. Let's assume something crazy. Let's pretend every single in this founder in this room gets exactly what they want. The best AI, unlimited tokens, every premium subscription under the sun. Claude Max, ChatGPT Pro, Gemini, whatever OpenAI announces tomorrow, or still trying to find out yesterday's update. Everybody gets it. Now what? Does everyone become successful? No. In fact, I think something much more interesting happens. The competitive advantage disappears. Imagine if tomorrow morning every basketball player woke up 7 feet tall. Congratulations. Height is no longer impressive. Now you've got to figure out who can actually play basketball. So what's happening with AI? Everyone keeps treating AI like it's the advantage. I think it's becoming the admission ticket. It's like email. Nobody brags about having an email unless they got a cool one, like Cool Dude 2004 or something. It's expected. Nobody says our company has electricity, right? AI is heading in the same direction. 5 years from now, nobody is going to introduce themselves as an AI founder. It'll be like introducing yourself as an internet founder. It'll just be founder, which means the game changes. Everyone has access to it. There's a quote from Naval Ravikant, because we always got to quote him in these. And he says, escape competition through authenticity. Ooh. I think AI is accidentally making that quote more valuable than ever. Okay. AI is good at giving everyone approximately the same answer. It defaults to the average. Okay. Ask ChatGPT for startup ideas. You're going to get all the different sales, recruiting, healthcare, blah, blah, blah. It's the same thing. Okay. We're all one prompt away from disrupting the same thing. And I know what you're saying. My idea is different. Is it? Or did you ask a machine trained on the entire internet to help you come up with an original thought? I've noticed something online. You probably have too. Every LinkedIn post suddenly sounds familiar. I've been reflecting lately. I used to think 3 lessons I learned, the future belongs to blah, blah, blah. It's like we all hired the same ghostwriter. No. Okay. Everybody's using the same ChatGPT or Claude prompt. Okay. For years, we worried that AI was going to sound robotic. Instead, humans started sounding like AI. How odd. And that's where I think the opportunity is. Because when everything becomes polished, authenticity stands out. When everyone writes perfectly like they Shakespeare reincarnated, the person willing to sound human wins. When everyone has access to infinite ideas, judgment becomes scarce. I do a lot of ghostwriting for founders, for funds, for investment bankers, for everybody. Everybody's always asked me, do you use AI? Absolutely. Every day. AI gives me 20 ideas. My job is killing 19 of them, probably 20, because they're all terrible. That's the work. The prompt isn't the work of the future. Anyone's going to be able to prompt. The judgment is the work. Okay. The judgment is always the work. Back in the day, Michelangelo, not the Ninja Turtle, I had to look this up, the artist, he said, I saw an angel in the marble and I carved until I set him free. Now imagine if he had ChatGPT, could generate 1,000 statues. Michelangelo still has to decide which one is worth carving. That's taste. Steve Jobs talked about this constantly. He believed innovation wasn't about saying yes, it was about saying no to 1,000 things. Nothing's changed. AI just gives you 1,000 things. Now you have to say no. And that is becoming one of the most valuable skills a founder can have. Startups don't die from a lack of ideas. They're everywhere. Pick them out of the air. They're everywhere. They die from too many. Too many features, too many customer segments, too many partnerships, too many great opportunities, too many random thoughts going in too many random directions. Every founder in this room will have AI telling them that they can do 10 more things. Your job is deciding which one deserves your attention. Okay. Jeff Bezos said people who are right a lot change their minds a lot. Yes. Notice what he didn't say. He didn't say the smartest people win. He said people with the best judgment win. There's a difference. Intelligence gives you answers. Judgment tells you which answer matters. And the more I use AI, and I use it a lot, the more convinced I become we've been asking the wrong question. The question isn't, can AI think? Yes, it can. Duh. The real question is, can you still think after AI gives you an answer? Because the founders who build iconic companies are not going to be the ones with the fanciest prompts. They're going to be the ones who know when the machine is wrong, or worse, when it's confidently average. And I think that's where the next generation of great founders will separate themselves. AI won't be the reason, but being a better human will be. And you are already ahead of everybody, because right now people just put an idea in there, a prompt, they copy and paste it, boom, they're done. They don't even double check it. Think could be hallucinating. Nobody cares, which is why you have to have taste. Okay. The biggest misconception about AI is that people believe it's going to reward intelligence. No, not at all. It's going to provide intelligence. It's going to reward taste. Okay. For most of history, intelligence was a thing that nobody had. Okay. If you were the smartest person in the room, you had an advantage because you knew something everyone else didn't. Today, we're walking around more intelligence in our pockets than entire companies had just a decade ago. Ask Claude a question, ask ChatGPT a question, it will give you a phenomenal answer in seconds. It's credible, not doubting it. It's also why intelligence alone is becoming less valuable. When everyone has access to the same answers, the advantage shifts to something else. Judgment, taste, knowing what actually matters. As I said, Steve Jobs, innovation is saying no to 1,000 things. Okay. Apple wasn't remarkable because they could build a bazillion features. They were remarkable because they had the discipline to kill all those features. Okay. The iPod wasn't successful because of the 50 buttons it could have. It had one wheel. Okay. Google became dominant because everyone else was trying to cram weather widgets and stock tickers and horoscopes onto the homepage. Google looked almost unfinished when it launched, but that was the point. AI is going to give every founder 1,000 ideas. Your job is deciding which 999 deserve to die. That is the definition of taste. Okay. One of the things I've learned from doing content for founders across industry verticals and running for all these companies is that writing is not the hard part. AI can write. You get yourself a book before you go to dinner. Okay. Most people in the room can probably write something that's decent. Okay. The difficult part is deciding what deserves to be written in the first place. That's why I always laugh whenever someone says AI is going to replace writers or creatives or artists or builders or innovators. No, it's going to replace blank pages. The hard part has always been having something worth saying. That is still your job. The same thing is happening with entrepreneurship. AI can help you build a prototype over the weekend. I've done it myself. Hasn't been that good. Terrible. It can write code. It can draft investor updates. It can summarize customer interviews. It can even help you write a pitch deck that looks surprisingly convincing. What it can't do is decide whether you're solving a problem that anyone actually cares about. And that's where founders earn their right to be founders. It's where they earn their equity. Okay. I met plenty of founders who can kill it with their explanations of every feature of their product. Much fewer can explain why someone is going to pay for it. Why does the world need it? Those are very different conversations. Customers don't buy features. Okay. Investors don't fund features. They fund conviction. They fund insight. They fund founders who have noticed something everyone else ignored. That's why I think curiosity is becoming more valuable than intelligence. Curious people ask questions AI doesn't expect, doesn't train for. You make it go crazy with the computation. They chase ideas that don't fit nearly cleanly into a prompt. They notice tiny frustrations that everyone else has accepted as normal. Great startups begin with someone saying, why is it done this way? It's not an intelligence problem. That's an observation problem. Funny thing is, AI is trained on the past. Every book, every article, every GitHub repository, every forum, it's extraordinarily good at recognizing patterns that already exist. But entrepreneurship has never been about repeating the past. It's about seeing a future that doesn't exist yet. That's why some of the greatest startup ideas sounded ridiculous at first. If they sounded obvious, somebody would have built them. If renting out your spare bedroom sounded obvious, there wouldn't be an Airbnb. If having a stranger come pick you up in a car was obvious, there wouldn't be an Uber. If having communication outside of email with your team was obvious, there wouldn't be a Slack. And again, it goes back to Jeff Bezos. People who are right a lot change their minds a lot. That's the judgment. Okay, you're going to pivot. You're going to change your mind a lot. AI is not going to do that for you. It can't give you wisdom. You have to earn it. Okay, it's earned through your experience. The bad hires, the people that ghost you, the customers that say they're in and never pay, the failed products, the awkward pitches, launching too early, launching too late, trying to raise money, running out of money, getting rejected, getting lucky, and then trying to figure out which one it was. That's what AI can't do. Only you can do it. Those experiences are your internal operating system, not your prompt history. And that's incredibly optimistic. Okay. If intelligence is becoming abundant, then being deeply unapologetically human becomes more valuable, not less. Your experiences matter, your instincts matter, your sense of humor matters. Trust me, I know. Brain behind venture comedy. All right. The weird combination of things that only happen to you matters. So yes, AI can help you build faster. Use it, abuse it, do what you want with it. Still can't tell you what's worth building. And I think that's why founders will always matter because there's things that AI can't fake. Now, the longer I use AI, the less interested I become in AI itself. I'm more interested in what it reveals about people. If I give two founders the exact same tools, the exact same prompts, and the exact same amount of time, they'll build two completely different companies. Not because one of them has Claude or one of them has ChatGPT. Sure, the free plan's not going to do what the paid plan's going to do, but it comes down to judgment. AI doesn't eliminate the differences between people, it will amplify them. That's why we're entering an era where the founders matter more than ever. This is our time, like the Goonies said. It's our time down here. One of the biggest myths in technology is that success comes from having more information. It doesn't. Okay. Google didn't make everyone a brilliant entrepreneur. YouTube didn't make everyone a Michelin chef, even though they wanted to. Reddit didn't make everyone an expert on therapy. Okay. Information has been cheap for a long time. Execution? No. Always expensive, and you got to pay it. Judgment? Same thing. The people who always build great companies aren't the people with the most information. They know which information to ignore. And I think that's one of the reasons so many people are anxious about AI. They're treating it like a replacement for thinking instead of a tool for thinking. That is a major difference. Okay. Warren Buffett said risk comes from not knowing what you're doing. AI can absolutely help you understand an industry faster, summarize research, explain a balance sheet, teach you Python in an afternoon. What it can't do is decide whether you should bet the next 5 years of life on your idea. And you can ask it, and it'll say, oh, I think you should, and it could be completely wrong. Okay. It doesn't have your intuition, it doesn't have your experiences. That's still your decision, your risk, and in my case, and in your case, your reward, provided you do it. One of my favorite things about founders is that they're professionally unreasonable. If you showed the average person the statistics on startup failure, they'd go get a government job today, right now. Founders look at the exact same numbers and think, yeah, but I'm different. That's irrational confidence. It's also responsible for a pretty significant percentage of technological progress. I don't think ever AI is going to wake up one day with irrational optimism. That's a human bug, okay? But it's also a feature, right? And I know you could say, but Shaun, I went to AI. Claude told me my TAM is $57 bazillion. Great. Claude has never tried selling software to a human being or the government or a hospital or convincing a skeptical enterprise buyer or getting a Fortune 500 procurement team to answer an email before Labor Day. Markets don't buy products. People do. And people are gloriously irrational. They procrastinate. They change priorities. They ghost you. They tell you they love your product and then disappear forever. AI can model behavior. It can't predict human nature. Okay. There's a reason the average founder behind one of the fastest growing startups is around 45 years old, not 19, as all the hype would have you believe. Research from MIT and Northwestern found that experience dramatically increases the odds of building an exceptional company. So you're not late, okay? You're just on time. Why? That's because experience isn't just accumulated knowledge, it's accumulated judgment, pattern recognition earned through the hard way, getting punched in the face by reality enough times that you start recognizing the punch before it lands, okay? When I was younger, I thought smart people made all the best decisions. Not anymore. They made more mistakes. They hired the wrong person. They chased the wrong customer. They launched too early, too late, price too high, price too low, trusted the wrong person, ignored the right one, and somehow survived long enough to recognize those patterns the next time around. Again, that's not something you could download or buy a course for or prompt. That's something you earn. So I think AI is going to make the experience more valuable. Every founder in this room can now build a prototype. That's great. It's incredible, but everyone else can too. The question is going to shift from can you build it to should you build it? Much harder question and a more interesting one. AI has made creation easier. It hasn't made discernment any easier. So if I could leave you with one thought before we wrap this up, it's this. Don't spend the next decade trying to become more like AI. Spend the next decade becoming more like yourself. Read books that have nothing to do with startups. I'm currently reading the Accursed King series that inspired Game of Thrones. Nothing to do with startups. $10 on Amazon. Go have fun. I'm on book 2. I'm not going to spoil it. Much better than the show. Travel somewhere uncomfortable. Talk to customers who disagree with you. Build things that fail. Have conversations that change your mind. Live a life that gives you stories that AI can never invent. One day, every founder will have the same tools. They're not going to have your experiences. They're not going to have your instincts. They're not going to have your judgment. They're not going to have your background. And that's the part that's always going to be impossible to automate. So as we come to the end of this talk, because I know people are like, when's it end? Don't worry, it's coming to the end. I'm moving with it. I'm getting here to the final thought. We spent the last 2 years asking the wrong question, in my opinion. Everywhere I go, someone asks, do you think AI is going to replace us? And I understand why people ask it. It's a scary question, but it's a wrong one. Question is, what happens when everyone has AI? That's the future. That's what's going to happen, okay? Everyone's going to have access to it. Everyone kind of already does, okay? How are they using it? I don't know. To do their homework, to turn in work that slop, to write horrible LinkedIn posts and tweets and try and build an agent that malfunctions because they don't know how to use it. I mean, there's a lot of different things that's going on with it. But I don't think the winners of the next decade are going to be determined by who has the best AI. Again, they're going to be determined by who's the most interesting human being in the room. Curiosity, judgment, conviction, humor, big on that, empathy, leadership. They're not becoming obsolete. They're becoming scarce. Scarcity creates value. Think about the people you admire most, the founders you look up to, the leaders who changed industries. Do you admire them because they had access to better software? No. You admire them because they saw something everyone else missed. They made difficult decisions when there wasn't an obvious answer. They inspired people to follow them. They earned trust. They didn't have to prompt to do that. Okay. None of them came with a monthly subscription for that. One of my favorite quotes comes from Alan Kay, who said, the best way to predict the future is to invent it. Okay. AI is an incredible invention. It'll help us all invent faster. Still won't tell you which future is worth building. That's going to always be your job. Entrepreneurship has never been about having the right answers. I don't have them. I wish I did. Nobody does. It's been about asking questions everyone else overlooked, making decisions before they're obvious, and believing in something long enough that the rest of the world eventually catches up. So, what should you be doing as you move forward into this AI age? Okay, just learn every tool you can get your hands on, every AI tool. Experiment constantly. Build faster than you thought possible. Automate the work that doesn't require your brain. Nobody likes drudgery. Automate it. Get it out the way. But don't automate your curiosity. Don't automate your skepticism. Don't automate your brain. Don't automate your relationships. And for the love of God, don't automate your personality. The internet has enough perfectly polished, completely forgettable founders already. And yes, I know AI can do almost everything now. Maybe. Okay. I've never seen an AI convince a co-founder stick around after 6 months of bad news. I've never seen AI calm a terrified employee after payroll almost in the clear. I've never seen AI build trust with a customer who's betting their career on your product. Technology has always been good at making us more efficient. Business has always been about helping people. I genuinely believe this is the greatest time in history to become a founder. Okay. It has nothing to do with AI. It's because the barriers to building have collapsed. Even an idiot like me can vibe code his way to something that's usable. Okay. Cost of experimentation has collapsed. Single founder with conviction can now build something that would have required an entire engineering team just a few years ago. This is a massive opportunity, but the opportunity doesn't build the company. Founders do. So, as we leave here tonight, I hope you become obsessed with AI. I hope you learn it. I hope you master it. I hope you use it every day. I also hope you never confuse using a tool with becoming one. Because one day, everyone in this room is going to have the same models, the same agents, the same automation, the same technology, the same unfair advantages that no longer feel unfair because everybody has them from grandma down to your neighbor that thought AI was a guy named Al. What they won't have is you, experiences, failures, instincts, taste, judgment, your ability to see around quarters, your willingness to bet on an idea before everyone else believes it. Those things, impossible to copy, impossible to automate, impossible to emulate. Those things are what makes great founders. And that's why I called this talk, You Are Still the Machine. Because you are. I want to thank everyone for listening. Congratulations to everyone graduating tonight. I can't wait to see what you build. If you have any questions and we got time, I'm happy to answer them. I know it's a little fast, but I keep it light, keep it loose, keep it funky, keep it fresh. Thank you for having me.
Sean, there's a reason why we kept you for last. You brought the energy. I think you woke everyone up, right? I
Oh,
am
come on.
pumped,
Come
right?
on.
I'm ready
Not
to
at
go
all.
out and pay the town rent right now.
All
Uh,
right, let's do it.
so we're officially ending, but we have 8 minutes on the clock, and Sean's time is precious, and I would love us to pick his brain. So, using the raise hand feature, we got 8 minutes. Keep your questions nice and tight so that we can get through as many of the questions in the remaining 8 minutes as possible.
Yeah, happy to answer them. You can raise your hand. You can drop it in the chat. I appreciate all the love in the chat. Feels like you're back in the 1990s. I don't know what that means, but sure, I love the 90s. Pure gold. Thank you, pun intended. I hope everyone needs the recording. Yeah, you're gonna have recording. All right, good stuff. Can I get the speech to keep me when Claude does not want to give me any emotional tokens? Yeah, I mean, why not? I have a friend named Claude. Just give him a text. They'll hook you up. Provide emotional support. Um, yeah, but I'll answer any questions. I mean, I started one of my biggest entrepreneurial journeys in the Caribbean. I used to throw all the parties in Nassau for spring break. That's right, Bahamas. So if you were in the Bahamas back in the day, you probably came to my parties. You did it for 2 or 3 years with MTV. A lot of big clubs, a lot of big parties. That was my jam. So yeah, I have an affinity toward the islands, man. But yeah, any questions, comments, concerns? We got 7 minutes. I'll do my best to answer them.
Awesome. If no one has their hands raised, maybe I'll call on the founders. Founders, ask Sean about Open VC. I mean, he's here representing one of the largest investor communities globally. Here's your opportunity to pick his brain one on one. You may not have this opportunity again.
Yeah, I mean, just want to throw it out there. I've done a lot of cool stuff. Trained founders for Shark Tank. Some of them won. Worked with other founders that did win Shark Tank. Yeah, I work in venture capital. Can answer anything about your pitch deck. Answer anything about investor behavior. Why they're so weird. Still trying to figure out that myself.
Okay,
Lots of things.
I'd like to ask a question. Is Dr. Thomas here?
I don't know if I can answer that. I don't know who that is, but sure. Is he here?
Sure. I'm one of the founders who graduated. My question is, so I'm gonna hit go to market to get some pilot cases going, generate some revenue and some traction. At what point and how can I come to your doorstep and say, okay, this is what we've had, this is our KPIs. What is the avenue to do that so that at that point you can, do whatever it is that you do to get me ready to raise my pre-seed and seed?
You're going to need more than KPIs, man, than just going to go to market. Okay. Pre-seed, especially in this day and age, you got to be ready. I want a complete team. I want traction. I want hockey stick growth, 20% month over month. I want a sexy industry. If it's in AI, it's got to be something that can't be killed overnight by Anthropic or can't be killed overnight by OpenAI. It's not just go to market, get some revenue. You're going to have to build it out. We want to see revenue that is consistently growing, non-trivial traction. Okay, testimonials, they don't count. Wait list doesn't count. I want to see people actually using it and people paying. Now, with OpenVC, you can sign up today to the platform. You can learn everything. We got a ton of resources. It's all free. And then when you're ready, you can start submitting your pitch deck. You can search all different investors. We got over 17,000. We have a significant amount that focus on pre-seed specifically. First check-in, very early stage. You can submit your deck to them through the platform. You can see if they passed. You can see if they didn't. All that. Don't need to host it on another CRM. It's all there. But again, pre-seed, and this for everyone, pre-seed does not mean pre-ground. Pre-seed definition has changed. So in this day and age, you got to be moving fast. No more raising to build a product. Now the product is already out there. It's MVP. Maybe you raise some money from friends, family. Maybe you got some grants. Maybe you go into an accelerator. But it's no longer, I need the money to market. No, no, no. You got to be marketing it. You got to be selling it. You got to be hitting the market. And you got to have non-trivial traction. Okay. Depends who you're going after at the pre-seed. It's usually angels. It's usually maybe VC scouts, maybe boutique funds that specialize in that. But they still probably have revenue thresholds. $10,000 a month, $20,000 a month, $30,000 a month. It really depends. So yeah, but you can use OpenVC whenever you're ready. But make sure you're ready, which is
No
why we have all
problem.
the tools. Yeah, we have all the
All right,
tools.
thank you.
Oh, here we go from Jason. Yeah, anyone recognize the hat? Yeah, always be promoting. Okay, start doing this. Always be promoting. Always represent the brand. Okay, got to do it. I'll wear a shirt that says your ad here. We'll do it. That'll be for the next one.
We have time for one more question and then we'll wrap. So who would like to be the final question this evening?
Oh, there's
Or
a question in
comment.
the chat from
There's a
Tashana.
question in the chat. Okay, what do you mean by sexy
Yeah.
industry? Right now, AI agents. Okay, that's of course the hottest thing right now. The loops, forward deployed engineers. What I'm saying is if you're building for Web3 and NFTs, that was like 6 years ago, 5 years ago. That was sexy. Now it is all about the AI agents. It is all about what AI can do. It's not so much large language models. It's not so much ChatGPT wrappers. It is about what's happening right now, this second. So I don't want you to pivot to build to something that's like a bandwagon that's sexy right now because like, okay, this is happening. By the time you raise, it could be over. Build for you. Build for what your customers need. Okay. Don't base it on what's trending because if you base on what's trending, it's always going to be changed. Build for what the problem is that you are solving. Then the investment will come because you'll have customers, you'll have a nice wedge into a niche market that you can dominate and own the lane. You don't have to have this billion-dollar company to raise capital and to have a good company and to do it. Okay. You could still have a really nice life, really good career, really good company doing 50 million, 100 million, 200 million, $300 million a year. Don't let the headlines fool you. Okay. It's very hard to have an exit for 70 bazillion dollars. It's very tough. But build for what your customers need you for. What do they need you for? They need you for something, and it's not because you're building because everyone else is doing it. That's the wrong mentality. So I hope that answers your question. We got 2 minutes left. If there's anything left, I can do it real quick. Lightning round if anybody has it.
Yep. Who's up next? Just unmute. Fire away.
Anything? Nope. Okay. Okay, love it. When I meant 90s, I meant MTV when it was good. Okay, yeah. Well, I used to work with MTV. So yes, of course. Yeah, it was fun. And bring it back. Bring back all the MTV stuff I used to do. Bring back the good stuff. Bring back spring break.
All right, awesome. So we're at the top of the hour, Shaun. Thanks again for closing us out. You brought the energy, you brought the heat. The founders have free access to OpenVC to connect with over 17,000 investors.
Correct.
And combined with Founder Institute's Global Investor Network, we're certainly positioning them for success in the future. So for everyone who came out this evening to celebrate today, our founders made it across the finish line. Please keep them top of mind going forward because just as it takes a village to raise a child, so does it also take a community to build a startup. Thank you. Have a great night, everyone.